Well, this is a really a new development. The Russian pattern of extending influence into what used to be the Soviet Union has up to date been that of having undefined areas in other states that they can use as Trojan horses. We have the enclave of Transnistria in Moldova. We have the territories of Abkhazia and South Ossetia in Georgia. And up until the latest development, we had Crimea in Ukraine. That there would be some rationality from the Kremlin's point of view in having these territories as sort of levers against the governments in Ukraine, in Moldova, and in Georgia. Now that Putin has said that they are going to, they're preparing legislation to include Crimea into the Russian Federation. That's not only an even larger violation of international law, it's also goes against what we thought was rationality in Russian behavior before, and indicates to me that Russia is now, or Putin and his men in the Kremlin are now beyond the rational discourse. They're not really thinking about how these territories may be used in any rational power play, but it's completely emotional. So now Crimea will be part of the Russian Federation. And a Russian annexation of the Crimea is something that we could have lived with. It could have stopped there, and it could have been handled and probably dealt with in a legal, semi-legal fashion. But if trouble really does spread into the eastern parts of Ukraine, that is something that is going to be incredibly awful. Putin said in his big speech yesterday that they have no intention whatsoever of escalating conflict into eastern Ukraine, but it's only a few days ago that he said that they had no intention whatsoever to include Crimea into the Russian Federation. So what Putin says doesn't really tell us very much about what they're planning to do. And the problem with eastern Ukraine is that there are a lot of crazies loose on both sides that are probably not operating under anybody's control. And if these people start spilling blood, I mean, if large numbers of people get killed in street battles, then the first step is that Ukrainian security forces will have to intervene and there will be more bloodshed. And that's exactly the pretext that the Russians will need for a full-scale armed invasion. And an armed invasion into Ukraine will look very nice from the Russian perspective during the first 2 days with tanks rolling across the steppe. But as soon as they get into urban warfare, it's going to be incredibly bloody. So this, I mean, we're looking at something now that is incredibly, incredibly worrisome. Well, the problem with both the European Union and the United States is that they are so far behind the curve now. Everything they do just confirms the Russian position that the West are not to be taken seriously. They are just talking. They may slap us on the wrist, but that is something we simply do not care about. And the official response from the Russian parliament, the Russian Duma, was that we are honored to be on your blacklist. Please include us all. So they're daring the US to come on and do your worst. See what you can do. What is the worst thing you can do? We will take it. And this is no longer a game. This is really very serious reality. And Western politicians, both Europeans and Americans, will now have to escalate on their side to do some really serious economic sanctions that will cause the Russians harm. And the Russians are probably already fully prepared to retaliate big time against economic interests inside Russia, especially on the German side. And I wouldn't be surprised if we're looking at nationalization of German businesses and other countries' businesses inside Russia. This is now a shooting war, and it's going to be. There will probably be bloodshed in Ukraine, and there's going to be tremendously negative economic consequences on both sides when we enter economic warfare between Russia and the West, which is now bound to happen. There is no way, no going back from that anymore. The only question is how long it is going to be until we reach a new point where we can stand back and start talking again. And I fear that will be quite some time into the future.